Even though I can't see you, it's another beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I'm so excited that you are here at Living Beyond the Challenges with the DeafBlind Potter Sunday Night Live. And wow, we had Thanksgiving, gobble gobble gobble. It wasn't quite the experience. I mean, mine was very interesting. We had to, given my current situation in life, we had to do Thanksgiving a little bit differently. But hey, we're thankful, right? We're thankful that we get another breath of life today. We get to live beyond our challenges again today. And we get to make some pottery. I'm excited. So, couple housekeeping news. So, we are launching the next version of Together Food Challenges in January. If you want to start a New Year's resolution that said, I'm going to live beyond my challenges, your link is in the description, or it's that profile link there, and you'll find Together Food Challenges, and go there and you will be all good to go follow the food steps, and you'll see. I don't remember all the dates. I just updated it today, so it'll start, I think, January 14th. I think. Then it ends March. No, it ends March 14th. Starts January 16th. It's a Monday. And then our lessons are on Tuesdays, and our support groups are on Thursdays. So, yeah. All right. You guys ready for Living Beyond the Challenges with the DeafBlind Potter tonight? All right. If you got questions, you put them in the comments and you ask your questions. I'll do my little spill. And I do have two pieces of clay today. So if we get some good questions, I'll make two pieces of clay, two pottery pieces tonight. One about the story, the other one I won't destroy for you. I'll make it nice and pretty. you know, that probably drives you crazy. You see me make this beautiful piece, and you're like, Kelvin, why do you have to mess up every single piece? And I get great pleasure out of it. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. I mean, let's just think about it. The amount of time I have made pottery all my life. I mean, oh man, I'm 19 years in of making pottery. And it wasn't until like year 10 where I'm like, I'm okay destroying a perfect made piece because I can make it again. And that's when you say, I have made it. I have made it to live beyond my challenges. So, all right, let's get ready. All right, you know, we all start life on a ball of clay, just like this. The question is, what are you going to become? You don't know that answer when you're born. Your parents don't even know what your answer, what that answer is going to be when you're born, and that becomes something that you end up learning over time. And you get thrown on the potter wheel, and you're there. And that's when you start learning about the world. You start wondering, what is life? How is life supposed to be? Do we try to got the clay a little off center there when I threw it down? I'll just kind of throw it in there. But when we get thrown on the potter wheel, we find ourselves just going through life, pooping our pants, going to the bathroom, just doing what kids are supposed to do, right? And but we don't realize, even in our early childhood, we're being shaped. And a lot of times our childhood is what affects us for the rest of our lives. But part of when we grow up, we start getting on the potter wheel. We start spinning. The question is, are you going to ever get centered? Or is the world going to keep changing you, keep affecting you? In my case, when I was born, no, my parents had no idea. that I was hard of hearing. They had no idea that I was going to struggle with being able to talk. They thought I was just going to be a normal child, just like every other child out there. Granted, what is normal? Normal isn't necessarily always perfect, but for most people would say normal is somebody that can do everything normal like everybody else. They can talk, hear, walk, and in my case, my parents realized when I was 1.5 years old that wasn't necessarily the case for me. It'd be nice if I can get the clay to center right off the bat, but I'm a little rusty. It's been 2 weeks. I was sick last week. Man, that was a brutal I have last week. But thanks for those that hung out there with me. But when we start learning about life, we start getting centered. The question is, are we going to live our lives like this? Completely closed up to what could be good for us? Or are we going to allow somebody on the inside? Are we going to allow God to shape us on the inside? And I tell you, my early years was like this. I didn't want this. I didn't want to live with my hearing loss when my parents found out. And it took 3 times of trying to unalive myself by the time I was 9 years old. When something started really making a change, not on the outside, but on the inside. See, when we allow the world to stop spinning us like this, yeah, we might be centered, but you can't become anything unless you allow somebody on the inside. See, if you want to live beyond your challenges, you can't do it alone, and you can't do it from this position. Yeah, you might be centered. You might be a great person. But the question is the struggle that you are dealing with allowing you to live beyond that challenge? Are you always just going to be a lump of clay that looks centered, looks great? Yeah, you can be something simple. Or do you want to grow your life in a way that goes beyond that? And I knew when I was in the 3rd grade, when I had to make that decision. Am I going to continue to hate myself because I can't hear and I sound like a deaf person? Or am I going to allow something on the inside? See, after the 3rd time I tried to unalive myself, that's when God decided to have the inside of my life. And that's when he said, Kelvin, 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 I have a plan for you. Is he saying that to you right now? Is he wanting this? Just inside. You don't have to be safe. Just this. Because this is where it all begins. It's right here. See, that hole is allowing God to start working in my life when I was in the 3rd grade. The question is, this hole in your life right now? Are you going from the center to allowing God to come on the inside? See, a good potter knows how far to take this clay. This clay got lots of air bubbles, and it's going to have give me a lot of challenges. But a good potter knows where the limitations are. Just like God knows the limitations of you. The question is, are you willing to allow Him to be the good part of your life and have the inside of you? See, a good potter knows that the top must be centered to make a piece. But a lot of times, even though we have God on the inside, we find ourselves messing around with the top of our lives. We find ourselves being able to say, oh, I got this. I can do it on my own strength. I don't need God's help with this. And how often do we just find ourselves just being able to start going through life? And we start doing life like everybody else would do. See, when I was diagnosed with Usher syndrome type 2, which had caused my vision and my hearing loss, I didn't accept it. But what I did do is I denied it. See, yes, I accepted Jesus into my life when I was in third grade. And He had the inside of my life. But the question is, was I willing to allow Him to shape me as a person with a hearing loss? Was I willing to allow Him to keep the top centered so that way it can become a beautiful piece? See, when I was 19 years old, I chose to make a decision that would forever impact my life. And this decision would not only change the way I look, not once, not twice, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven, not eight, not nine, not 11, 12 times. It would shape me into who I am today. Not in a good way. See, like I said, God had the inside of my life. The question is, was His hands on the piece? To be able to center the top, work the sides, work the inside? No. See, what happened when I was 19 years old was my vision went from seeing up and down, left and right, to being into a tunnel. And I couldn't see up, down, left, or right. I couldn't drive anymore. I couldn't do the things that people would normally do that could see. And so I told God that I don't want you controlling my life. See, if God is the good potter, He needs to have His hands on you at all times. But the question is, do you make decisions that take His hand off the piece? Are you making decisions that are taking God's hands off of your life, like I did by trying to unalive myself 12 times? Because I told God, screw you. I don't need you. The question is, are you willing to just have the hands of God on you? It took the 12th time for God to be able to get His hands wet and get my attention. And by saying to me, Kelvin, 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 I have a plan for you. I want you to embrace that blindness. I want you to embrace who you are. I don't want you to end your life. And that's when God said, I want to show you what deaf blindness is going to look like for you. And I know it's not going to be easy for you, and it sure isn't. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? And but he said, Kelvin, trust me. Let me show you how I can shape you. And this is when I learned a verse in the Bible, Romans 5:3-4. It says, rejoice in your suffering, persevere, and know and persevere, knowing that perseverance builds a character that has hope in Christ. See, what ended up happening was God was able to start shaping me, start molding me, start getting me my attention in areas that I didn't ever really thought I would be. But what was interesting was because I was trying to allow God to be the center and shape me, He could shape me and truly almost make my choices disappear. And it was great. And him and I, we worked through life together. And he helped me understand how to handle deaf blindness. And he helped me understand what I was going to need to do to continue to work through that. And he understood. He was there through it all. But the one thing is I only gave him one part of my life. I didn't give him everything. I only gave him the deaf blind side of me. I didn't give him the inside of me of just what life would normally I would have to deal with. I didn't allow him to see that part. And because I didn't do that, it shaped me. Yeah, he had the inside in my life and was able to shape to take the outside and grow me and nurture me and make me into a beautiful piece. Are you like this right now? Where you've had a relationship with God for a long time, but you didn't give him everything. And now your addiction is taking over. My addiction was pornography. I was so addicted to it that I couldn't get enough. I was itching for every closet I could get into, every corner I could go, to use the central part of my vision to look at those pictures and those videos. It would destroy my mind. It would destroy my heart. It would destroy my walk with Christ. It would essentially make me really wonder, what am I here for? Do you feel that way sometimes? Are you struggling right now? Are you seeing me right now and asking yourself, how did he know that I'm struggling with a secret? Nobody knows. Well, you don't have to walk through that secret alone, by the way. You can make a commitment to say, I'm going to walk through this secret with a brother, a sister, and get accountability. And that's what I did. And that's why Together Through Challenges is here for you. That we'll start this, But if you're struggling now, we'll start our relationship now. We'll start conversations. We'll have our one-on-one call. We'll interact with each other. We'll even start building this friendship. Because you don't need to walk through the journey alone. I didn't get out of my addiction to pornography by myself. It took my brothers to come around me, my brothers of Christ, that said, Kelvin, we got a plan for you. But it's not going to be easy. And it allowed God back into my life. It allowed Him to really get a hold of me. But because of my choices, it really messed up the piece. A good potter can still work with messed up pottery. The question is, are you willing to do the work with God to help you get through this season? And a good potter knows that if he can get a good pull on a piece, he can get the piece to kind of spin back to normal. But again, the damage is still there. Not going to be perfect. And yeah, my choices are going to be there. My choices that I made are going to be there. The question is, are you willing to allow God back in the inside? It took me almost 3 years. I mean, I still struggle with it, and I can't see anymore. It'll be something I always will struggle with for the rest of my life. But when I struggle, I tell my wife, and I pray, and ask God to help me. And I reach out to my brothers that have been through this journey with me. And it takes God to be able to really say, hey, now that you worked hard for your stuff, let's start using your stuff to help somebody else. For me, I didn't tell the world that I struggle with pornography until 3 years ago. My addiction season I was struggling with, I was in my 20s. 20, 21, and 22. Maybe 22, I don't remember. But what was amazing is when God said it's time for you to tell the world about your secret. My wife, she was like, you should. My wife supported me on the idea. And it started shaping me in a whole new way. It started really giving me a personality to be able to help people. Say, it's okay. It's okay to fall. I fall. But the question is, are you willing to be shaped? Are you willing to allow the good potter to have control of you? Are you willing to allow the good potter to give you what you need to overcome? Are you willing to work through the hard times? And you might stumble through the process of being shaped, just like this piece. But remember, your choices are going to change the way you look. And this is exactly what I'm explaining is because I made these choices, it changed what I could become. But when God said, it's time for you to start sharing your story with people, it made it to a point where the peace was no longer worried about being able to support the story, encourage the story, but it allowed it to become part of who I was. And to walk through journeys with people and say, hey, you don't have to walk through this alone. We can work through this together. We can deal with this battle that you have together. And I mean, obviously, you can tell that my mistakes changed the way I look. But isn't it pretty cool? Might not be perfect, but it's beautiful in its own way. I wouldn't be able to have this conversation with you today if I wasn't willing to deal with my issues. And the question is, are you ready to deal with your struggles today? And if so, I'll take the first action. Go to Together Through Challenges, which is the link is in the description and also in the profile. And sign up today. And let's start making this change in our lives. And if January is too far out for you, just send me an email. It's all right there for you. And let's start working through it together. Because you don't have to do this alone. But the question is, are you willing to start having joy in your struggles? I mean, that's what the first ring is of every DeafBlind Potter piece. Is the joy. The perseverance. Because to persevere requires you to start really working through some of your hardest things. And then the last ring, is your character. And the peace is your hope. And that's how you live beyond your challenges. Just like I did. One day at a time. It's a marathon. It doesn't get fixed tomorrow. But you will live beyond your challenges. All right. So if you got your questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. And I'm going to destroy this piece and start working on the next piece. And you ask your questions. If you got questions, you let me know. We will. I got RG on the line. I got Peter. I might even got Vindog. I know he said he was going to get here late today. But if you got questions, definitely put them in the comments. So I'm going to take this clay and put it inside here. Do. So, all right. I really need to clean my wheel. Anybody want to come over and clean my wheel? I hate that process. Okay. Thank you, National Jones, for the awesome comment on YouTube. And all right, there it goes. I know it breaks your heart. Hey, Ashley. Yes, I am. I took a vacation over the last. Oh, we started it on Thursday night. There we go. Oh, so if you guys got questions, put them in the comments. I'm gonna make this other piece here, and RG will read them to me as they come in. All right. Ooh, this clay is wet, but it'll be fun to throw. Ooh, there we go. Eee. This will be a lot easier to center too. Yeah, people, don't do this at home. This clay is too wet to throw. You can, like, I just push in and got this. Oh man, you can see my fingerprints on there. All right, let me get this thing centered. So much easier to center wet clay. And all right. So, what are you guys thankful out there? I know we just celebrated Thanksgiving. And what are you guys getting for Black Friday or Cyber Monday? By the way, if you want free shipping on your pottery pieces, this is the time to go to the DeafBlind Potter website, DeafBlindPotter.com, and you get free shipping. Can't really give you a discount because I don't make enough money on the pottery process, and my expenses are too high. So, all right. Yeah, this clay is so wet. I just went right through the bottom. I think I didn't even feel it. Because I was sick last week. I didn't get to really prep the clay before I went on vacation. So, but that clay that I threw first was a little bit more dry. It actually works fairly well. So I'm gonna use a technique that I don't normally use, which is my open hand palm. And I just push the clay. So you go like this, and then just kind of push the clay in like that. So that way, I kind of did that on the last one piece, but this one you really got to do this with. I'm gonna cone it. See, I tell you, so many people in life, they get to this point right here in life with God, where you get coned and things look awesome. Like there looks like there's potential, but you make a mistake or you do something that hindered God from being able to do something in your life. And I find this happens to so many people. I mean, it happened to me, like I had so much potential, but because I chose to go down the unaliving path, it really messed up who I could become. It took me longer, I mean, granted, a lot of us don't know what we're doing in our 20s. All right. Now we're ready for some good polls. You ready? How about that? Ooh. Some of you guys might wonder, why do I cone so much? Because I like to have it tighter. But because this clay is really wet, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to keep it all together. I don't normally cone if I have like really good clay. But right. Let's see here. See how it feels. I can't tell what it looks like. I'm not a huge fan of this spot right here. Oh, my apron got in the way. Oh, you know what happened? Is I pulled it too. Yeah. See that? Yeah, I'm gonna lose it. Let's just do the. No, I'm gonna start over. Don't do this at home. You'll blow up the piece in the kiln. Any questions, RG? Mm-hmm. So, National Jones, you asked the question, how long have I been doing pottery? 19 years. Crazy. That means I've been out of high school over 20 years. Is that right? Yeah. Yep. My friend Cynthia, she's she's from Canada as well. And she's like, what? Thanksgiving in October? Oh my gosh. So well, you could definitely give it a shot. The question is, um, you could give it a shot trying to do pottery. I recommend taking a class first. And so, but if you do it, um, I don't know about that, RG. Me teaching it, maybe one day I have a dream to have my own pottery school. Maybe I could teach people how to make pottery. Well, then, maybe what we need to do is we need to do a fundraiser campaign for me to buy a property out here in San Diego, and then that property you come down to San Diego in the summer or even in the winter, because that way you can get out of the cold snow of Canada. Oh, Canada. Oh, my wifey. Hi, wifey. What is my favorite piece to make? Oh, I feel like I'm making a donut at the moment. That looks like a donut to you? A pot? RG, we don't smoke weed here. See, RG's trying to tell me to smoke pot. He said that this was like a pot. No, this doesn't look like no drugs. We're not doing drugs here, RG. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. I wonder if I can get this to connect. Do you think we can get the clay to connect to the other side? Let's see. So my favorite piece to make are vases. And I love making vases. Because it's like almost a sense of power. I don't know about power, but it's a sense of accomplishment to be able to make a vase. Because there's so much that you can do with a vase. Like right now, I'm making something really unique. And like you can, I call this a flying saucer. Do I glaze my pieces? You should come from Canada and come here and you can glaze my pieces for me. But yes, I do glaze my pieces. I don't like glazing though. That's why I'm okay just making pieces. um, but yeah, if you go to my website, deafblindpotter.com, you'll see my glazed pieces. Those are all my finished pieces there. Well, I could teach you how to glaze. That's not hard. See, I did it. I got it to connect. Now, check this out. Check this out, people. You ready for some cool stuff? All right, I'm going to take the bottom off of this first. All right, let me get this. Okay. So what's happening now is that because I closed off the top, and now it's an air bolt. It's one big balloon. And so what I'm going to do now is see. This is a really interesting life lesson right here. How often do we cut God off from the inside? Think about that. Because like this, I would have to go right back through the middle to reopen this. And the other thing is there's limitations on what I can do. See, check this out. Like you can shape it a little bit from the outside, but it's not great. See? because you really need to have control from the inside. Isn't that crazy? That is an interesting shape right there. Let's see. Here we go. Hey, Lovey, this could have been our dip for yet and I put the that dip stuff in here, and then I could go like this, push this down, and you can put all the crackers. There we go. It's not very even. Whoops, just popped it. Oops, that's not good. Well, I think this clay has seen better days. But sometimes when we face challenges in life, we just need a good pop to get us back centered. Just like this. Because we might not become something amazing, but we can become workable. I mean, isn't that a workable bowl right there? See, no matter what you are struggling with, no matter what the difficulty that you are going through, you can be worked. You can work through that. It's not going to be easy, but it can become beautiful. Just like this. You don't have to be a vase. You can be a bowl. It's all workable. There's a purpose. I mean, we all need bowls for Thanksgiving, right? I know my wife needed a bowl to have our dip. The question is, are you willing to allow God to have control of your life? That's the question. Well, that wraps me up for the night. Any last questions before I wrap up for the night, RG? Hey, we got Ben Dog on the line tonight. All right. Any violence on the line? Oh, I said. So Ben Dog wants me to ask you all: do you desire to be shaped, molded, and formed in the way that God designed you to be? Because, like as you just saw me make this piece, it went through different stages. It still became beautiful. See, God always has a plan. The question is, are you following His plan? Let me just pray for you right now. And if you need to say this prayer with me, say it after me, okay? God, thank you for being the God that loves me. Thank you, God, for being my potter. Father, forgive me for my mistakes from the past. Forgive me for my mistakes that I currently am struggling with, my sin. Father, I want your hands back on the piece of my life. I want you to mold me, to shape me, and to guide me and to give me the purpose that you have called me for. If you said that prayer with me, please email me. But I want to walk through your salvation with you and be a human potter for you. I mean, I love being able to hear your stories. Several of you have reached out and shared your story, and I've been able to pour life into you. And I want to do that for you. Oh boy, I smashed a piece. My tummy got in the way. The joy of being blind, right? But I am the DeafBlind Potter. But again, if you said that prayer, email me at contact at deafblindpotter.com. So take my username, put a .com, and contact at. Will get you an email to me. And I will reply back to you. All right? Any last questions? RGs? Okay. We got a couple comments. So the difference with chili sauce with cream cheese and with wheat thins, and I tell you, it was pretty good. I enjoyed that. I had that for dinner last night, or my dinner snack, whatever it's called. So, yep. Thank you, National Jones. Yes, I'll be back next Sunday at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right, everybody. As I always say, go live beyond your challenges, and I will see you next week. All right. Woo! How was the midway, man? What's that? Okay.